Hey guys, this is Alex.
This is Matt.
Yo, it's Colin.
And this week on Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, we discuss CM Punk at StarCast 3 for the All Out Chicago event. Does this mean he'll be working with promotions, or is this just for fun? Of course, we preview the Raw reunion coming up this coming week. We also discuss our hot take on who is deserving the most out of anyone who has not yet held the WWE or Universal Championship titles. We also, of course, do our recaps for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and of course, this special edition of Extreme Rules. All this on this week's episode of Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, Episode 4.
Welcome to Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast. Cheap computer text-to-speech intros sold separately.
All right, so the big news story of the week, guys, as we've all been kind of talking about, is CM Punk has been officially booked for StarCast 3. Obviously, StarCast going to the first ever all in before AEW was even a company, and then of course they come to StarCast 2, Double or Nothing. AEW's All Out going to be in Chicago, so obviously it's a little bit more fitting for him to kind of show up, and he is booked for this, but obviously this gives speculation of him returning to the wrestling ring. I know there's been videos going around of a masked man at indie shows, and it pretty much was him at a few shows. His whole spiel was, I owed my friend a favor, so I just did it for fun. But obviously this is, everyone's always wanting him to come back to the ring and everything, and I think this seems a little bit more fitting and a little bit more of a clue that this could be kind of a thing. I mean, the tweet that comes out from StarCast's official events is, he's straight edge, he's controversial, he's a former heavyweight champion, he's quote-unquote the best in the world, and he'll have a live mic at StarCast. StarCast is honored and welcome to bring CM Punk to Chicago on Labor Day weekend. Then they tell, ticket sales and everything. So I think, honestly, we've heard a lot of him say how he does not have any interest in coming back to the wrestling ring. Obviously, the podcast with Colt Cabana and everything he's done after, he's kind of talked about how, WWE kind of ruined his love and passion for it immensely. But obviously, AEW is kind of doing things a lot differently for, it's for the girls and guys, by the girls and guys type of deal. So let's get your thoughts on it. Matt, what do you think about this? Do you think it's speculation, or do you think it's just going to be him just doing it to have fun because it's already going to be in Chicago?
I think it's him just doing it to have fun because it's already in Chicago. I mean, I don't know whether or not he wants to come back to wrestling or not. I think it's cool that he is going to this event. He's going to do a meet and greet. He's going to do an interview, a one-on-one interview, which I think is pretty sweet. Maybe we'll get some details on what his actual plans are, is whether or not he does plan to come back to the ring. I'm not sure if his MMA career is 100% done. I know he's doing announcing for MMA.
Yeah.
But if he does come back to wrestling, I hope that he is going to be working with Cody and getting in the AEW world.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because all the things that he kind of wished that he could change about wrestling, especially in that Colt Cabana podcast, he talks about how he wanted to change things for the boys and girls. And it seems like that change that he wanted is being initiated in AEW for everybody. So it seems like his vision's kind of coming to light through other people, and maybe it might be appropriate, for him to kind of join. But this could, like you said, it could just be him having fun and everything. So, Colin, what are your thoughts? Do you think anything could come out of this, or do you think once again it's just people running the speculation rumor mill and it's just him doing it for fun?
I think it's 100% speculation. I don't think he'll come back. I think he's made that pretty clear with a lot of things. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I know, Matt, you said you loved him when he was wrestling, so I know you would like to see that. Me, I don't care. I don't think he would. I think all he would do is add to the promotion of AEW, so I would like to see it. But if he doesn't, I don't think they're going to be missing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I'm just trying to imagine if he came back, like, it's hard to kind of think about, because obviously I know I would love to see him back for sure, but it'd be so weird to kind of see him come back, because when he left, things, even though it was 2014, that's only 5 years ago, things have drastically changed. a lot. So it'd be, and that might be good because he can kind of reinvent himself. I know the documentary I watched on him on the network, he always talks about how he wanted to invent himself and everything. So that could be cool. But at the same time, I would love to see him come back. I know that pop in Chicago for him would be fucking immensely like.
No, it would be
Yeah,
insane.
that would probably be the biggest pop of all time. I mean, let's be honest, that would be. But
I don't truly think that you would be able to just drop wrestling after all those years, even if you think WWE has kind of ruined it for you. I just think that there's something about the older wrestling that he watched growing up and some of his idols like Randy Savage and Stone Cold Steve Austin that he still has a passion for wrestling despite saying that he's pretty much done with it. I just can't see that just going away.
so you kind of feel like the fire inside of him is like lingering a little bit, and it probably won't ever go away.
I think so. I mean, how many wrestlers come back? I mean, they always come back. I know he's a little different. He's CM Punk, cult personality. He can do his own thing. He doesn't need to do anything. He's working for Marvel doing that comic book stuff. But
Yeah.
what is his incentive right now if he does come back? Other than the fans being extremely happy at 40 years old. I think he's 40. At 40 years old, do we want to see him come back in the ring?
I mean,
I mean, that speaks to what really he feels deep down. Do we really know the real CM Punk? Did he lose that drive, that love for wrestling, or can he be happy sitting maybe on the sidelines, behind the scenes, and helping AEW not become what happened to WWE?
yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's funny because I think Matt's right. They always, most of them at least, always come back. And I feel like I feel like he will eventually. Maybe now. It's weird to say like now might not be the time for him to come back. He's got a lot on his plate. He's doing the whole Marvel comic book thing. He's announcing for these MMA promotions. But at the same time, think about how fitting. It just kind of seems like the perfect storm. And obviously AEW selling out that Chicago show, and I think it was in 15 minutes or something along the lines like that. I know I tried buying tickets and I didn't even have a chance the minute they went on sale. But yeah, that'd be the arena holds 12,000 people, and as soon as they went on sale, I log in. It's like you're 26,000th in line. I was like, well, fucking, I'm going back into work now. Like I just didn't have.
Not happening.
So I mean,
Yeah, it was 15 minutes.
yeah, it was around there. Yeah, I know that, but it just seems like the perfect storm kind of for him to come back, and maybe that's just me kind of thinking in my mind of how much I would love to see him back. But at the same time, we also kind of have to remember that, just because these characters live on in our memories kind of forever as fans, these are real people who move on in life and maybe he's in a whole different phase of his life. And at least that's what he says in interviews all the time. So I don't know. To me, it seems like the perfect storm. I know you guys are kind of saying it's all rumor and speculation, but I'll go on I'll speak out and say, I think we'll see something. We'll see something. And I don't know what it's going to be, but I have that weird gut feeling,
So
From a pan to the crowd to everything going dark, and then just him being in the middle of the ring. Anything would suffice for any fan.
I mean, even if he came out and showed, because I know they're doing a tournament for the tag titles. Like, what if he came out and debuted the tag titles or something along those lines? There's going to be some kind of involvement. I can already tell. And maybe that pop that he gets from that involvement is going to make him be like, fuck it, I want to do this. I want to give this one more shot. That's just my kind of fan booking, if anything.
yeah. Well, speaking of potential returns, the new rumor coming about is Ronda Rousey potentially returning sometime soon and working with Paul Heyman now that he is in creative control. Alex, do you want to see Ronda Rousey come back? I know I do. I'm probably the only one in this group that does want to see Ronda Rousey come back. But
I would love to see her come back only as a heel. That's it. I will say she was not a bad performer, but she just got way too stale. Everything was this. It was a 1-year run, and it wasn't a bad 1-year run, and she worked her ass off to become a good performer.
yeah, a 1-year run with her mostly holding the women's championship the entire time.
Oh, and
yeah, but is that because of her wrestling abilities or her name?
it's definitely
Both?
her name in my book. Both.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I never was so over on her, because the way she left UFC, and me and Matt, we've talked about this numerous times. He loves her. I don't like the way she left UFC. So for that just always sticks in my mind. I'm not saying she's a bad wrestler, but you got to work on yourself, work on your own name. Don't be so over just because of who you know what I'm saying?
I hear that.
It's hard to, because if you have the name, obviously you're going to use it. So
I mean, I think
it's really a catch-22.
I mean, the big part of it was her name and her celebrity status and all that. But at the same time, I thought she was a pretty good performer for, only training for however long she trained. But at the same time, I would like to see her come back. But like I said, I would like to see it as a heel. The whole run is just kind of the baby face just got super, super, super stale after a while. And that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I would like to see her come back.
I don't want her to come back and be the Brock Lesnar of the women's division at all. I wouldn't want that to happen. But I do want to see... I think she's a fantastic wrestler. She's natural at it. She's a huge fan from back in the day. Obviously, the Roddy Piper influence that she has. I think her skill is tremendous. She's, fantastic at selling, but also destroys every woman in the division and makes the other ones look good too when she goes toe-to-toe with them in certain cases. Like Sasha Banks, she made her look pretty strong. And
so you're saying she's a good hand?
She's gonna come out and fucking hit Bailey with a chair.
Yeah, she's gonna.
She's gonna find this podcast and fuck Matt up for calling her a good hand.
I'll take a chair shot to the head. It'll be worth it.
That keto diet will heal it up in an hour. We're good. Don't worry about it.
It'll get me out of work for a week.
The only thing I didn't like about her run is she only took one loss, and that was at WrestleMania.
She had two. She lost in a tag match to Sasha Banks and Bailey, I believe. She wasn't pinned, but that did count as a loss for her.
Yeah.
And singles competition, though?
I'm talking like singles competition. I think it was only at WrestleMania for the triple threat match, I believe. I would like to see her come back as a heel, but at the same time, she's got to take some losses. And
she does, and that's what I was speaking to, is how can she's got to be able to handle that, because obviously what we know about her past is she didn't handle that
Shayna
all
Baszler
well.
And have them feud in WWE. Shayna Baszler is somebody who lost to, legitimate wrestlers, and then she's also a MMA. She's good at MMA. And
I like it.
Isn't it like the four horsewomen of like the... who the hell's the other one? Maria Schaefer. I don't fucking remember her name. But
Bobby Fish's wife.
No, Roderick Strong's wife.
Oh yeah, Roger Strong's wife.
Yeah. But the thing is that would they've been rumored to get called up with Ronda for like the past year and a half now, and nothing came of it because it was supposed to be the four horsewomen versus the four horsewomen. Obviously the others being Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha. That I would love to see. I mean, it would
Survivor Series is on its way. We'll see what happens.
That is true. I mean, I would like to see her come back, but it would have to be in some capacity or some role where she's going to have to take some losses in singles competition. I mean, I get why they kind of, I'm sure within her contract to get her over, they were going to have her be undefeated, but at the same time, it kind of spoiled it for me.
Yeah. I mean, even Brock Lesnar loses every now and then, so...
Oh, exactly. And that's why, it's kind of like she's going to have to take, put some people over, I feel like, especially, with the whole... I mean, it sucked because every time I saw her come to do a match, especially, I remember the one against Dana Brooke, and they were building it up all night. Like, Dana Brooke's going to go against Ronda Rousey, and Dana Brooke's, like, doing these, not vignettes, but kind of like, promos of, like, I've been training so hard and everything. And, there was a podcast that came out earlier in the week, and it was, everyone's like, oh, Dana Brooke works the hardest. She deserves a win and everything. And the whole time I was excited. I was like, you know what? Like, okay, like finally Ronda's going against a non-main event person. There might be some interference and she might take a loss. And it was just a fucking minute squash match. And she didn't even let, Dana Brooke get not only a move on, but she didn't try to sell to make her look good at all. And that's when it spoiled it for me.
Yes, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's when it spoiled it for me. And I was just like, I'm over this Ronda Rousey shit. Like, there's got to be something different. So if it was for me... I'll put my vote in as I would like to see her back, but either as a heel And if she's not a heel, if she's going to do the baby face, she's got to put some people over to get them and those people stock up.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I'm different. But in other news, Shawn Michaels is joining SmackDown commentary team.
Oh, that's true.
Yes, he is.
I think it's only a one-off, or is it kind of been rumored that it's going to be, a contract of months? Does anybody know? I think it's only a day, or that one night for an event.
Is it this Tuesday? Is it right after the Raw reunion?
Yeah, it's right after the Raw reunion. I think it's only one night. I feel like Joe Rogan right now. Jamie, pull that shit up.
Yeah, well, he's sticking around for Tuesday's show. So, interesting. Maybe
to see what comes from it.
I know we have heard him before on NXT commentary. Maybe he'll stick around later on for more SmackDown commentary. Although I do think the SmackDown commentary team is pretty solid. But maybe they can give Corey Graves a break traveling around the world. Or traveling around the United States, I should say.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it'll be one date, but it's just that's the whole thing is I say like, oh, it's just gonna be one date, but it's just so random for him to pop up. Because when I saw it pop up, I was like, oh, I think they made a mistake. It's supposed to be for the Raw reunion or something, but no, it's for the SmackDown one. Yeah, he will be at both, but as far exactly. But as far as the the commentating, I was like, I saw that just pop up, and I was like, that's really random. Like, oh damn, maybe there's a scheduling conflict that one of the guys can't make, and like, hey Shawn, this would be fun. But I'm stoked to see it because when I heard him on commentary in NXT, I thought he did a very good job. And if you guys, we all know if you go back and watch the Raws in the '90s when there was like guest commentator and him as heel Michaels, it was just so fun to listen to him.
Always,
he was just the best.
And doesn't he have a hand in NXT as well?
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
He does, right?
Well, I think that's also a good segue to kind of go into, we're mentioning the Raw reunion, which, the ads started popping up for that, a week or two ago. And just to name off a few of these people, we're looking at about 33 legends and everything. Pulling up right now on WWE.com, it says the Red Band will see a Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, as well as D-Generation's Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Road Dogg, and X-Pac. No Billy Gunn there. In addition, the WWE Universe can look forward to the returns of the $1 Million Man, Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, Diesel, Razor Ramon, Alicia Fox.
I thought Alicia Fox was still on the roster. I don't know what happened.
That's why I kind of stopped myself in my fucking tracks there. I was like, I thought she was still under contract. All right. Just to read off a few: Alundra Blaze, Booker T, Eric Bischoff. That'll be awesome to see because there could.
I think the Eric Bischoff one is what I'm looking forward to the most, just to see where it goes.
Yeah. This is the first time we're going to see him on TV since being announced for his executive director role on SmackDown. So that's going to be interesting as hell to see. And then we got Candice Michelle, Christian, Devon Dudley, Eve Torres, Gerald Briscoe, one of the original Stooges, Sergeant Slaughter, The Godfather, Jillian Hall, Jimmy Hart, Jerry the King Lawler, which I know, Colin, you mentioned the fact that this is going to be his 1,000th Raw.
1,000th episode
That's
of
a
Raw.
lot of puppies right there. Good Lord.
That's a
shitload. Jonathan Coachman, Caitlin, Kelly, Lillian Garcia, Mark Henry, Melina, Pat Patterson, Rikishi, Ron Simmons, Santino Marella making his way back to WWE after years. The Boogeyman, the Hurricane, and more. It doesn't even list off anybody else. So this it's kind of random how they're kind of doing this Raw reunion. I know there was a news report going around that USA was saying like the ratings are down. You got to do something to boost them up, to get them up. But even if that's the case or not, I think this is still going to be a fun show. It's always fun to kind of get everyone back together for an old school Raw. I remember it's funny because as we talk about this before I saw that they announced this, Matt, when we were at your house live streaming for Fight for the Fallen, you were talking about and showing me like, oh, remember like the the old school Raw and how cool they made it look, and then the next thing you know we're seeing ads for it. So I'm excited for it. What are your guys' takes?
I'm excited. I just I hope it doesn't kill some storylines that they're trying to build up for SummerSlam. If anything, I hope that it just increases whatever storyline they're going to be. It's nice to have a Raw where you're seeing all these great legends and people who used to wrestle. come back and gets the crowd popping and smiles on faces. But if it's not leading to anything, then I'll be a little bit upset. Hopefully it's memorable though.
Yeah. Colin, your turn?
Yeah, to bring it back to, bringing everything back to whoever's childhood, whatever generation you were from, whatever generation you watched. I think that's can only help the company.
Yeah, no, totally. I know that
some of these names are just incredible. Who are you most excited to see?
Everyone's gonna say Stone Cold. We're just waiting for that pop. It's weird though because when he came back for that Raw 25, as awesome as that was, there wasn't one word spoken on the microphone, which I was kind of like, oh fuck, man, I wanted to see him talk some shit and bury some people in the process. But I think everyone's stoked for Stone Cold. That's just unanimous. I mean, think about it. They could just announce, even if they had none of these legends come back on for a unit, if they were just like, next week on Raw, Stone Cold Steve Austin returns for one night only. That's a 3.5 rating right there. You got a million more. Yeah, you got a million more people watching just to come watch him out for an 8-minute segment at the start to get the crowd going. So it's a unanimous decision. I think. Let's each go around and say one other person we're most stoked to see. Out of this list, looking at it, I'm gonna take my vote and say, I'm gonna say Diesel. I'm gonna go with Diesel. Big sexy Kevin Nash.
That's yours? I'm going probably a little bit of a hot take, but the Boogeyman.
Boogeyman. Really?
Love it because I saw some things online, Twitter, and I don't know where else. They could use that to with the whole Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and
oh shit,
Finn Balor as the Demon. Whose side is he going to be on to push either one? So I think that would be pretty cool. Pretty cool to see.
I didn't even think about that. Matt, are you still going with Eric Bischoff, or there's someone else you would want to kind of throw their hat in the ring as well?
I'm looking forward to Kelly.
Kelly. I was thinking you're going to say Alicia Fox. Kelly. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Why Kelly? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, I was at Evolution when that happened, and she got in the ring during that Battle Royal. Looked pretty good. She had a lot of fun in her post interview. She did an interview recently with Chris Van Vliet. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but close enough. And she said she said she misses it. So, maybe she retired from wrestling pretty young. Maybe it's a opportunity for her to step back into ring and get back into it. If she has maybe a more part-time job. I know she's not looking for a full-time.
How old is she?
I think she's in her late 30s. Yeah, she's still in her 30s. She's pretty young. I think when she started, she was only 20 or 21.
Yeah, I'm 32.
She's only 32?
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I did not expect you to say that.
Shit, that's really fucking young. Oh my god. I'm pretty bummed that the Great Khali isn't in this list, but they all can't be winners. Well, going on from this list, I see the Hurricanes on there.
Didn't he die?
The Great Khali? He didn't die.
Are you sure?
I swear to God he didn't die. You gotta go to his Twitter. I don't know if he's tweeted recently, but he just takes selfies and there's no face emotion. It's just a him just hanging out in a jacuzzi. And someone but it's not him taking a selfie of himself. It's someone's 7 feet away from him and he's just sitting in a jacuzzi staring at the camera. And someone fucking photoshopped it was my boy over there thinks you're mad cute.
He's very much alive.
Well, then I got by the internet because somewhere I read that he died.
Yeah, he runs a wrestling school in India, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Because I don't think I've ever seen him take a bump.
All right, well, my bad, Khali.
My bad, GK. Well, going on from that, guys, I think this is a good segue that you guys want to talk about. The Hurricane being on that list. I know that you guys were mentioning this big 24/7 championship promo that went down at Comic-Con with the Hurricane and R-Truth and, of course, Drake Maverick. You guys want to recap that for some of us? I myself included because I did not get to see it yet.
Yeah, so I was a little upset that Drake Maverick lost the title. I like his title reigns. I think it's pretty funny. I think he's great at doing the Twitter, YouTube clips, and overall, he makes the 24/7 title. How much it means to him and how much they show him stressing how much he wants
take it away from him.
And how much it means when it's taken away from him, as life is crumbling down. I love it. And I was a little upset when he lost, but now R-Truth has it again. He's held the most reigns with it. And at a Comic-Con panel in San Diego, at the IGN interview, Drake Maverick came up from... Oh, no, Hurricane, sorry.
The Hurricane first.
Hurricane came up, tried to do a schoolboy roll-up on him, and
the best part was R-Truth didn't acted like he didn't know who he was.
he said it was a cool outfit.
He thought it was yeah.
That's a cool costume.
He said it was a photo op.
Yeah, and then the ref came over and he said he looked just like another ref, even though it was a ref that was clearly on WWE, which was pretty funny. But the interviewers had like no idea what was going on, it seemed like, and Hurricane tried to do his little roll-up, failed, and then eventually Drake Maverick came back, dressed up like a banana, get emotional about how his life is crumbling. He hasn't consummated his marriage.
His wife won't let him until he wins the belt back.
Oh my God, he's still constipated. Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, it was great to see the Hurricane. I see him on Twitter every now and then. He shows up at events, and it's good to see him. Hopefully, he'll come back and do something fun.
I know he usually comes back
24/7
once in a while for the Rumble.
The hardcore 24/7 title, with him having the championship, was a pretty good run.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can bring some of that nostalgia back to that title.
They probably will. They'll probably do something tomorrow night on Raw because Mick Foley's going to be there.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Well, I think also going to that, guys, I think real quick as we start to kind of do our last two topics here, the WWE SummerSlam 2019 match card. So far we have 3 matches on the match card. We have Bayley versus Ember Moon for the SmackDown's Women's Championship. Becky Lynch versus Natalya for the Raw Women's Championship after that 5-star classic of a fatal 4-way that I think we can all agree makes Brett versus Stone Cold at WrestleMania look like shit. And then, of course, we have Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. So far, I'm thinking this is going to be build up into a pretty solid card. I mean, obviously, they're probably going to make it an 8-hour show like they always do. The Toronto crowd, of course, it being in Canada, they're going to be hot as hell, which is going to be awesome. So far, I think it's going to be a pretty good match card. I mean, I'm looking more forward to NXT Takeover, but we'll get into that with our NXT review. What are your guys' thoughts on this match card so far? I mean, obviously we have a ways to go, so it's going to be building up slowly, but quite honestly, I think it'll be a pretty decent card in my prediction.
I would like it to be. I know on our last episode, we all kind of said that Extreme Rules was going to be a letdown, but when we speak on it, it was actually exactly. So if they can keep up with the theme that they've got going, I think it should be all right.
Plus, we also have to remember that Eric Bischoff isn't even in his executive director role, so those SmackDown matches haven't even truly all been made yet. I mean, we only have 2 Raw matches and 1 SmackDown match, so that's something to look forward to. Matt, your thoughts and maybe your hot takes on it.
It's interesting to see Becky Lynch versus Natalya. I'll look forward to that just to see who comes out victorious. Maybe they'll give a break to Becky Lynch, but I highly doubt it going into this October fall season. They're going to want Becky Lynch as a champion. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins, I kind of don't want to see that. Pretty bored. I was disappointed by the match that happened on Raw to get that as the champion. Maybe they add a third person and make it a little bit more interesting, but I don't want to see Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar again. And Bayley versus Ember Moon. I mean, okay, I'll take it. We'll see. I feel like they might give Ember Moon the championship for a little bit, but there's still a lot of people missing from all these matches. No tag team matches, no Intercontinental title match yet, no United States title match yet, 205 Live Cruiserweight Championship not on there either. Sure, that will be on the pre-show, but there's still a ton of championships not on here. I do think that NXT will probably be better, and according to your Twitter poll that you posted,
I think it's like
overwhelming. Is it like 79%?
79% people believe that NXT TakeOver will be better as well. So
Yeah, I mean, I honestly am looking really forward to out of these three matches, probably Becky Lynch versus Natalia, just for the fact of Natalia being from Canada herself, and it's going to take place in Toronto. So that so far I'm looking forward to the best. But at the same time, Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins is kind of played out. I mean, I was stoked when Brock Lesnar came out and cashed in. To be quite honest, we all knew he was going to cash in and be successful. But yeah, this match just seems like really predictable. And out of the 10-man battle royal they had, it would have been nice to see like one other person kind of take the win for that, and then get the championship match, and then maybe Seth Rollins comes in and says, "Oh, I deserve my rematch," make it a triple threat. That would have been kind of cool. Bayley versus Ember Moon. I'm a big Ember Moon fan. I loved her in NXT, and I do like her in the main roster. I don't think that she's being utilized enough, so I'm thinking they're going to give Ember Moon that for sure. So we'll kind of see what goes into that. Well, I think that's a good segue to get into. I know we were kind of having a back and forth on our notes that we share on our phones. And I think, we talk about these championship matches and who's not utilized. And I think a good question to kind of, have a quick discussion about is who is the most deserving to have either the WWE or the Universal Championship that has not had it before? My vote would be Finn Balor, but as we know, he already has won the Universal Championship, so he's kind of out of the running for that. I honestly would say Dolph Ziggler. No, I'm just totally kidding. I would say my vote would probably be.
Don't take mine. Don't take mine.
Well, I don't know what yours is yet. That's so hard.
All right, Colin, you go first then.
Yeah, let Colin go first to kind of start the fire up.
Mine, just because I love him. Going through the notes, I would like to see Aleister Black.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
his storyline would have to go through a heavy push, but I think he would kill it.
Yeah, I think especially with his character, he's kind of, especially with him just kind of getting called up to the main roster, he's just kind of starting to get his whole storylines picked out. And vignettes, and they've been good. Who is the one who knocks and everything. So that's actually an interesting choice. I think they would have to definitely go deeper into his character, but a solid choice for sure. And he could definitely be
because look at his past two matches with Cesaro. They have been awesome.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Some people could say Cesaro.
That's been a hot topic for years now. Is giving Cesaro that kind of main guy push. I mean, he definitely has the moves, if you want to call it the move set for that. But I've always kind of felt like his character is very, I don't know. It's always swaying back and forth for me of whether I like him or not. Matt, who do you think you would choose for this?
Samoa Joe.
Oh, damn. I'm going to have to go Samoa Joe, too. I'm going to have to go Samoa Joe because him as a heel is great. So, Matt, what would you like to see Samoa Joe do if he had those championships, and why do you think he's deserving of that?
I think he's just a perfect heel. He's fantastic at trash talking. He can do it to a level that is still good for WWE's PG era. He likes to get in people's family business, which I think is pretty funny. And a lot of that AJ Styles rivalry I thought was pretty intense, and got you like, oh, did he really just say that? And
Wendy.
yeah. Hey, Wendy.
It was awesome.
And then Rey Mysterio stuff, he started going into the family, situation with that as well. And I just think that somebody who had such success in Ring of Honor, TNA, elsewhere, he shouldn't be. Sometimes it seems to be a common theme between some of these individuals that come from those companies, especially Impact, right? TNA, Impact. AJ Styles is kind of like the exception. But EC3's kind of been getting thrown under the bus too, and I know that we all want to see him hold some type of title.
Yeah.
But I think Samoa Joe definitely has, from his time in NXT to his time in SmackDown and, WWE Raw, he deserves to have a title eventually, and he's a great heel.
See, I just love his heel work so much when it was with AJ Styles, because he made you, even if you're a fan of Samoa Joe, kind of want to cheer for AJ. Like, Joe, I hope AJ like kicks the shit out of him. And especially that whole, like, what did he say that one time? He's like, I'll be your daddy or something like that. And AJ Styles just totally went off on him. I mean, I definitely think he's definitely deserving, no doubt about that. So yeah, I'd have to go with him as my vote. Or Kalisto, because I think Kalisto is just no. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Well, I think going on from that, we should get right into any final thoughts on that, or are we ready to go right into our Extreme Rules review?
Just a quick update. Apparently, the Undertaker not going to be on the SummerSlam card, so his involvement with Extreme Rules might be the last we see of him for a little bit. Nothing too crazy there. Switching gears towards AEW news, Pac has lost his championship, which now allows him to openly lose freely in AEW. So his creative path in AEW, we might be able to see open up a little bit more as he has dropped his title in his other company.
Yes, I'm very, very excited to see him go to AEW. I mean, his heel work just alone is so fascinating, and it's funny because, I mean, we have Jericho as a great top heel. We have Shawn Spears who's kind of getting there. We have the greatest heel of all time, MJF. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I love the guy. So seeing Pac in there would definitely add a good measure of good heel work to that company. So I'm excited for it, for one. I mean, we'll see where it goes. Will he be at All Out? We don't know yet. So I guess it's kind of what we'll see happen and play out. But ending that and getting right into our Matt, do you want to add anything? It looks like you're kind of going to the microphone.
Just one last note of information is that Madison Square Garden is now available to host WWE Raw and SmackDown, and yours truly, your Hitting the Ropes podcast host, will be there live in person.
Oh yes, section.
Hell yeah,
Raw.
we
We
will.
decided not to go to SmackDown, but we're gonna be at Raw.
I mean, if we're gonna
Doesn't matter.
I think
My 27th birthday, it's going to be
that's
awesome.
right. It's your birthday. We got to get that Airbnb at Nassau County somewhere. Take the train. I'm excited for that because I mean, first of all, I think it's been 10 years since they broadcasted a fucking Raw from MSG, which is absurd to me. I think they used to do it yearly.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that long. Me and my brother were looking back on the network last night, and the Royal Rumble in 2009 was there. So we were like, when was the last Raw?
Yeah, and was it like the night after or something along those lines?
Maybe honestly, I didn't even look it up, so I don't
The
know.
last one was Monday Night Raw took place at MSG was November 16th, 2009, featuring John Cena and The Undertaker.
That's
So,
10 years right there. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for one. I've never been to Madison Square Garden. I know Colin was saying it's the quote unquote Mecca. So I'm excited to go for
That's
one.
what they
The
call it.
world's most famous arena.
Famous arena. That's right. I'm excited. I mean, we'll be in what is it? Section 213. We'll be rocking
224.
224. Oh, I didn't even. I thought it was 213. I don't know. I might have been looking at something else. I think it's going to be a good show. I mean, do you guys think they're going to bring out some legends for it to get the ratings up and the ticket sales? Or do you think it's just going to be a really good stacked card for it?
I think the crowd is going to be great. Obviously, we're going to be there, and me and Colin are both New Yorkers, so that's gonna just knowing the New York crowd. I think it's going to be a good show just based off of that.
That and how long it's been. I think 10 years. You
I
really
think the excitement is gonna
exactly that just boosts it.
But, I think it's too early
So
I don't know what the storylines are going to be post SummerSlam, but that's going to be the center of the focus is right there is what's going to happen after August 11th.
Finn will be in the club by then. Adam Cole will be called up.
Oh God, I hope he's not called up till I need one more year of Adam Cole in NXT at least. I just need to see one more War Games with the Undisputed, like so bad. And you said we're section 224.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're right in the middle. We're at the hard camp side. So we're gonna have great fucking seats for that.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! Hell yeah! So we'll be there. If you listen to this podcast, come find us. We'll be the ones throwing our empty White Claws when Kalisto comes out, or at least I will be. So rolling on to that, to keep it on with the WWE, we're gonna get to our Extreme Rules review. And honestly, guys, we went into this thinking it was gonna be lackluster, not good, and it ended up. I stayed an extra night to watch it because I was like, oh, this might be kind of good. You mind if I stay? And quite honestly, we all had a great time watching this, and it was actually a decent pay-per-view. I mean, it was kind of weird to kick off the card on the pre-show with Finn Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC belt. I thought that was like, this should have been on the main card for sure. Maybe even kick off the main card.
Yeah, well, we also talked about it last podcast, and we're like, they're not even on the show. And it was kind of odd
because at that time they still hadn't announced
it. Was like an
it.
hour before the pre-show. They're like Shinsuke Nakamura versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title, and I was like, oh shit, cool.
Yeah, and I thought the match, was a good way to kick it off. I had a little kind of, I was like, why is it on the pre-show? It shouldn't be on the pre-show. But honestly, it got the crowd invested right away, and I gave it a good 84, just a good solid B. I mean, you get those two guys in a ring together, magic's always going to happen, whether, it's them in a Judy Bagwell in a forklift match or just a title match. Like, whatever situation you put those guys in, it's just always going to rock, in my opinion.
Yeah, collectively, our average was an 84 between the three of us, and it was a fun match. I think if they would have been on the main card, they would have had a little bit more time. I think if you had a little bit more of a rivalry built up, it would have added to the pop of Shinsuke actually winning, and a little bit of sadness in the Finn Balor fans when Finn Balor lost. But knowing that Finn Balor is now coming out as the demon and Shinsuke has kind of just been out of the picture for a little bit, I think I'm hoping to see what Shinsuke does with this title. I think he is someone that is deserving to have it. So it wasn't a bad match.
No, not at all.
I think that's the only reason that we gave it a B is just because the time it wasn't allowed.
Yeah, that's true. So moving on from that, I mean, well, first of all, Colin, what did you obviously gave the match pretty much an average of 84 as us. I mean, we all enjoyed watching the match. I mean, out of those two guys, I mean, I'm sure you'll agree with it. Whatever situation you put these guys in, they're going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, and like I was saying, the only reason it scored as low as a B, which still isn't low, is just because what Matt said, the storyline could have been built up more. What you said, it could have been on the main card. And just if it was longer, I think we would have seen a lot better performance from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have, right after that, we have the 205 Live title match. We have Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese. This match I thought wasn't bad at all. It was a fairly pretty good match, but it just didn't do it for me. I mean, there was a lot of expectations because I think on the previous pay-per-view, they were on the pre-show again, and I believe it was, I forgot who was on. I think it was a triple threat, and they absolutely stole the whole show, even though they were on the pre-show. So I think expectations were a little high for this one. And this match for me, I love Drew Gulak. I love Tony Nese. I think he's awesome. But this match for me, it was just very like, okay, cool. Like, keep the crowd kind of invested and get them ready for the main show. But overall, a pretty good match. Your guys' hot take?
Yep, I thought it was fun. That's pretty much it. I didn't think they were going to let Drew Gulak lose the title too soon. It was okay.
Yeah.
Solid.
It was right. I think it was right. Yeah, right where it needed to be.
Yeah. So then after that match, guys, the main card starts, the pay-per-view starts, and then right off the bat, we kick it off with The Undertaker and Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre in a no-holds-barred match. Honestly, in my opinion, this was the match of the night. It was just fun. There wasn't, you had some storytelling in there for sure, but it was just fun. And when's the last time we saw The Undertaker perform that pretty decent? It's been a while. And he came right out of the gate, and it was just fun. And obviously, it was good for him to be in a tag match to kind of take a breather and everything like that. But overall, I gave this match an 89 out of 100. It was just really, really fun to watch. I know you guys giving it a 93. So your guys' thoughts on it? I mean, I honestly thought just overall fun. It was a great way to kick off the pay-per-view.
And that's when we were all watching it. I think we all turned to each other at one point and said, "Wow, Undertaker looks awesome."
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's why we gave it an A. There was nothing wrong with it. It was a great showing of wrestling from everybody in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, your take?
Yeah, I thought I had it. It's ups and downs. it's excitement of, oh my God, they're just gonna beat up the Undertaker and they're gonna lose because they're gonna put Undertaker through the table and coast to coast or whatever. And I thought the momentum was pretty good as we progressed through the match. And like we said, Undertaker looked fantastic. A really good rebound from the Saudi Arabia show.
Yeah.
From every Saudi Arabia show he's done so far. And yeah, he looked really good. And he definitely like we saw him when he got tagged in. We're like, holy shit, he's moving like we haven't seen him in a long time. And I don't know if it's just extensive training or maybe he was just more pumped about doing this one, but maybe he's doing some more DDP yoga. I'm not sure, but yeah, whatever it was,
he's living
whatever
in
it
a
was,
sober
Taker.
house.
Yeah, whatever it was, Taker, it's working. And we might not see you at SummerSlam. I'm okay with that. We'll save you for maybe Hell in a Cell or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And then going on from that, we had Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. I think that was the next match on the card. I might be getting it a little confused, or maybe
No, it was the Revival.
Oh, okay. Okay, so going from that, we have, pulling up my notes right here, the Revival versus the Usos for the championship. This match for me, I loved the Usos' performance in this. I thought the Revival was very lackluster for what they can usually do, which I was kind of surprised, especially, everyone can say what they want about the Usos, but as workers, they're just great. So I just gave the match an 82. I thought it carried the pay-per-view as a good cool-down match. I mean, that's kind of what you need after, a match like The Undertaker had, where the crowd's very invested and very hot and just wild. You're going to need a match to kind of cool them down, to keep them, kind of settle down so then they're not tired at the end of the pay-per-view. So I thought this was a good cool-down match for sure, but at the same time, just very lackluster and was definitely like one of the lowest on the card for me.
Yeah, I don't really think there was any standout points to the match.
Yeah, and it's two of the best tag teams in the world that they're just not going to the full to their full capability. If you look at the tag team matches that we saw the day before at Fight for the Fallen, every single one of those was like hitting out of the park.
Yeah.
You know that they can go toe to toe with any of those tag teams, and this one was just okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then going on from that, we had Aleister Black versus Cesaro after it was revealed that Cesaro was the one who knocks. And this match, honestly, I enjoyed. Sorry, I just had to.
Nobody's mad at it.
Nobody's mad at it, except Tom Burns. But besides that, Aleister Black versus Cesaro. And this match for me, I gave it the lowest score out of all of us. I gave it an 84. Not a bad match. I know Matt gave it an 85. Colin going with an 89. I know we're all pretty big Aleister Black marks.
That's his cousin.
Yeah, Aleister. That was the one who should have knocked. Your DoorDash is here. But we had Aleister Black versus Cesaro after it was revealed Cesaro was the one who knocked. We're all big Aleister Mark fans. See, I fucking did it again. We're all big Aleister Black fans. I thought this match honestly was awesome. I mean, we had the rematch. I think it was on SmackDown 2 days later. But for a first contest from these guys, which we know they're going to play out more into a storyline, I thought it was just excellent. I mean, their technical styles, I love a lot. As much as you wouldn't consider them to be technical wrestlers, I think their holds in this match, I was kind of keeping an eye on that and thought it was great. And then, of course, we had Cesaro. I think it was, let me just pull up my notes right here. We had Cesaro went for the neutralizer, black counters, and performs the black mass, which I thought was a great counter. I just think that this match was a good kind of starting point for their rivalry to kind of go forth and tell more of a story and kind of maybe dive deeper into both their characters, because we know obviously Cesaro is a heel now, so he's going to need more character work with that. Matt, what was your take on the match? I know you gave it an 85 out of 100.
I really liked this match. They were definitely compatible in the ring together. I just wish, I think it would have been more on par with Colin's score of 89. I gave it an 85. only because I don't believe they got the time they deserved. You know, it was exciting, and I wanted to see more. And by seeing more, I didn't mean seeing a rematch on SmackDown. I just wanted to see them go longer in this match, like a 25, 30-minute match. I think would have been awesome. But, that kick from Aleister Black to Cesaro right in the face, dropping out his mouth guard, was pretty sweet.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that one. Colin, what's your take on it?
Just his sell is, like, fantastic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The reason I gave it an 89 is just because you get all those promos week in, week out with Alistair. So now you're finally getting to see him perform. And I think he just nailed it. Like you said, when he went, that kick, if you go back and watch it, all the times they replayed it, and I've seen it on Twitter numerous times, that impact was just insane.
Oh, yeah. Especially the whole mouth guard coming out and everything. It was just, you could just,
great.
It was just, they were just selling him so hard just to be like, don't fuck with this guy. Like he'll kick anybody's ass.
And that's what we said earlier on our Twitter, who has the best intro music now, then I think right now, him coming out, that crowd pop. I mean, if you go back to the NXT TakeOver when they performed it live, I just love hearing that. It'll never get old. I
mean, I remember when he got into NXT and that takeover, and they said Code Orange Kids is performing the theme song live. I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And then it's like, and now to perform Aleister Black's theme, Code Orange Kids, with the lead singer of Incendiary. I was like, holy fuck! And I just remember, not only was the fucking band doing great, but you watch those old, NXTs, you don't see it as much now. Those people are singing every fucking word as loud as I can along with that song. And I mean,
it just shows you how powerful he is, his character and how much people want to push him. So
yeah, absolutely. So then going on from that, then we had our fourth match, which was, man, it was just boring. But Bayley defended her SmackDown Women's title against Raw's Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. In the end, we had Bayley counter Bliss's Twisted Bliss by raising her knees, performing a diving elbow, and on Cross to retain the title. This match I gave, let me pull up my notes here. I believe I gave it a 75. Matt giving it a 75 as well. Colin giving it a 77. Didn't think it was a terrible match at all. Just, it seems like it just kind of buried their characters, if anything. And it was just a very boring, kind of repetitive thing that we were all kind of expecting to see. I mean, I don't think Nikki Cross is bad at all. I think it's good that she's being paired with Alexa Bliss, but I just think they're kind of taking her character down a little bit in the same time. Colin, your thoughts on it?
I think we all gave it a C+ just because exactly what you said. It just repeated the same thing. Like you said, burying the storyline. We knew it was going to come. I mean, we called, I think, Bayley coming out on top. So it was just, what'd you have all that storyline for?
Yeah, absolutely.
We both know Bayley's great. Alexa Bliss kills it. So I don't think it wasn't really needed. Give that push to somebody else.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think Nikki Cross was needed in this match. I think if you would have had just a singles match, Alexa Bliss versus Bayley again, but just a straight up match that Alexa Bliss loses, I'd probably be more entertained and more fun in watching that than this kind of predictable, oh my God, how's Bayley going to come out of this and win sort of match, which we knew she was going to win from the beginning. So
yeah, I mean, there's got to be, Nikki Cross really has to step up if she wants to do something for her best friend. But going into that, after I thought, whatever, that didn't go over well. But going on from that, we have this is why I don't do comedy. I just do wrestling podcasts. So going on from that, we had Daniel Bryan and Rowan who were the champions, versus the New Day, of course, Big E and Xavier Woods, versus Heavy Machinery in a triple threat tag team match. I love this match. Anytime Heavy Machinery's in something, I'm going to love it. I love these guys. We all know the New Day rocks. And then, of course, anything Daniel Bryan does, whatever he's with or whoever he's with, is always going to, shine as well. Of course, we have in this match, let me just pull up my notes right here. Of course, we get Xavier Woods to perform the Midnight Hour, as he calls it, and win the title for the fourth time, the tag team titles for the New Day. I thought this match, given it an 88 out of 100, just fun. They had some really great spots in it. Like I said, anytime Heavy Machinery's in something now, I'm watching it. I'm all about it. Just some really good high flying spots here. I mean, any time you get these three tag teams into a match, especially all together, you're going to have some fun. You're going to have some magic there and everything. Matt, you gave this match an 87. Colin giving it an 88, so it averages out to an 88. Matt, giving it an 87, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was fun. I think Otis and what's the other guy's name?
I think it's
Tucker.
Tucker and Otis. Yeah, my bad, guys. Tucker and Otis still have a ways to go until I decide that they're the face of the company. But I mean, in reality, though, I do think they have a little bit of time to keep developing on the main roster before they ultimately put titles on those guys. The New Day winning, it was exciting. They have everybody in the New Day now has a title. They also put on a fantastic show, and the momentum of Big E when he was getting kicked by Daniel Bryan and eventually overcoming that, and it just showed the power that the team has. And then their tag team with him and Xavier Woods, because sometimes they switch out, but just the focus between those two individuals in this match, I thought was pretty cool and pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I got a hot take because I can't wait for the New Day to be stripped of all their gold.
Oh man! All right, give us this hot take. Why is that?
No, I mean it's just a personal opinion. Like I said last week, I really just started getting back into it, so I kind of missed that whole New Day push. So I don't know if that is why I feel that way, but I don't know. Like Matt said, I think Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker will do good as that. They just need that built up more.
Yeah, and Alex, not to be a dick, but to correct you, they're a 6-time tag team championship.
Oh man, I guess I can't. Does this mean I can still be the face of the company someday, sir?
No.
I knew I was shit.
No, taken away.
I knew I was shit out of luck when he was going to correct me. God damn it. Well, anyways.
Shattered dreams.
Don't worry about it. I'll just go to TNA. It's fine. So move is Shattered Dreams. So moving on from that. Next we have the United States title match against AJ Styles and Ricochet. And of course, at the end of this, we have the distraction from Gallows. Oh, God damn it. We have the distraction from Anderson. And then Gallows attacks Ricochet. Styles performs the Styles Clash on Ricochet from the middle rope, which I thought was an awesome spot to win the title for the third time and kind of take it away from, Ricochet's thunder a little bit. I'm giving this match, pulling up my notes here, an 87. Matt giving it an 85, Colin 87 as well, so it averages out to 86. I just thought this match was way better than their last two bouts. Their last two bouts that were on TV, I thought were not bad, but just very, they were missing something. And I think that something was they were both kind of in a weird way, obviously Ricochet being a babyface, but we kind of had that gray area with Styles where we didn't know which direction he was going to go in, if he was going to go back with the club or not. So I think that having that element of him being a heel again definitely upped it up for me and gave it some spice. And I thought overall this match was awesome. Loved it. It was very, very good. The finisher from the Styles Clash in the middle rope, I remember telling you guys, yo, he better protect it. That can break someone's neck, and I was telling you guys all about it. So I thought that was a fucking awesome spot. Colin, you give this an 87, the same as myself. What are your takes on it, and do you think that this heel role with AJ now played a more of a factor of us giving it a higher grade?
I think it definitely did. When whatever episode of SmackDown I think it was, when he went over to Ricochet and slapped him, that really brought him back to that character.
Was it SmackDown or Raw?
Was it?
Probably Raw.
Man, whatever it was. It's still, you saw him go down that road. But yesterday, I spent a couple hours, I was just watching some AJ Styles collection footage and seeing how great of a wrestler he is and how his storyline came. That just pushes him for me so much more.
Yeah, and I think the club playing a factor here. I mean, that's exactly what your stable is supposed to do. There's exactly what this tag team is for, what your friends are for, to help you be the champion, help you be on top. If I was in a match with somebody, I would hope that you guys would distract them and let me fucking win too. So, that's just how it is. And I think
more power to him.
That's how it works. And hopefully we'll see Finn Balor in there, but who knows?
I would love to see that. I think Finn going heel and joining the club would be kind of, it's going to be somewhat of a fantasy booking thing, but I would love to see that. I mean, I know on Twitter, I posted on our Twitter page, which of course is at HTRW podcast on Twitter. I posted fan Photoshop the club versus the Undisputed Era at War Games this year as kind of like a Photoshop fun kind of match fantasy, and I would love to see that, and I would love to see Finn as heel. Of course, Matt, I would distract them to have you win. I'd probably have Colin go up to the ropes and say, to the ref, "You're not my boss. You're not my god. You're not this." And then as he's distracted, I would just shake a White Claw and just peg it at fucking Ricochet's head and have you just pin him. Yeah. And it would just be awesome.
I'm glad that we're all in decision that I would be the champion. So that's cool.
Not for long, buddy. Yeah. But anyways,
easy now.
There's a lot more White Claws where that one came from at his fucking head. I'll tell you that much. I'll throw a black cherry at your eye. Ah, shit. So going on from that, then we had, which I mean, I really don't know if we want to consider this a match more than it was kind of a promo, if anything. We had Kevin Owens come out to face Dolph Ziggler, and it was an unadvertised match. It kind of was Dolph kind of spewing his stuff, Kevin doing his great pipe bomb stuff. Match starts, it just is Owen performing a stunner on Ziggler, and the match is over in 17 seconds flat. I know that I gave this match, I think it was a 60 around there. Let me pull up my notes here. Yeah, it was just a 60. Matt giving it a 65, Colin a 60. Guys, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Was it just something kind of a cool down thing to get the crowd kind of settled down, or do you think it was just definitely them trying to keep the storyline going with Kevin Owens?
I think they were trying to keep the storyline going, but it kind of just killed it for me. I mean,
really,
17 seconds.
It was nothing. Yeah. It was nothing that was needed at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, why even have the match at all? I don't think it would have done it. It didn't do anything really for Kevin Owens, in my opinion. It did worse for Dolph Ziggler. As someone who's a former World Heavyweight Championship, Intercontinental USA Champion, this guy's held it all, and just to have him go out there and get stunned 17 seconds and pinned, like, I don't know. It just makes Dolph Ziggler look weak, and I disapprove of that as a fan.
And you don't like seeing Dolph Ziggler look weak?
No, I don't.
I mean, I think they've been making him look weak for years now, quite honestly. I still wish Ziggler would be the top guy in the company. But first of all, I would love for him to reinvent his character, because I'm just getting sick of the whole Shawn Michaels had sex with Bret Michaels from Poison, and now we have Dolph Ziggler kind of the whole thing. It's just so fucking annoying to me. I think he's a great performer. I'm just so over it. But I think at the same time, I think it was not necessary, not needed at all. I mean, even a backstage segment with Kevin Owens would have been fine as a kind of a cool down thing. But we got this, and then, we all kind of averaged it out to be around 63, I believe, around there.
62.
And 62, okay. So,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm just going to keep correcting you all day.
So, I mean, we could have gone for a 0, but you didn't want that on the ratings.
Well, the reason why I don't agree with a 0 for anything is because I'm not a performer, I'm not a wrestler, and just them going into the ring and doing stuff, I think automatically gives them at least a 60.
Yeah. You know what? I like that. All right, that was a good.
I have to have respect for their abilities and their years of training, and I can't see myself, even if if the worst match is, if it's the worst pay-per-view or the worst episode of Raw, it's gonna get a 60 straight across, which would give it a D- for me. But unless they said something like Vince McMahon dropping the N-word again or something like that, they'll probably get an F. But
oh my god,
yeah, but.
That just threw me so off. I totally forgot about that moment for like so long. All right, well, oh god damn it!
I think we skipped in the sequence. We skipped a match, and that was the Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley match.
Oh yeah, we did. Oh my apologies on that, fellas. Once again, I've been corrected. I've taken a back bump. The Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman, the last man standing match. They go right into the crowd, kind of do the whole, fucking each other up in the crowd, all the spots and that. And then, of course, it ends with Braun Strowman. I think either he power slammed Bobby Lashley or just slammed him through a section of kind of towards the arena, towards the seats, where it was obviously a prop and everything like that, through wood and everything. And then it comes out with, the refs doing the 10 count. Braun pops out of the wood, is like, which I don't know how he acting like he's not selling at all, just doing his whole brawl, like, just comes out, and it's just all good. Overall, I enjoyed this match a lot. I thought it was just a good, fun match, especially getting with the crowd involvement and everything. And that spot at the end was just, I thought it was just awesome way to end it. And this was one of our highest rated matches of the night. I know for me, it was my highest rated match, me giving it a 94. Ending was great. I thought it was a good way to make, Strowman look good after the, big spot that they had on Monday Night Raw. Not seeing him ever since then, pretty much. Matt, you giving it a 94, Colin a 95. Colin, you giving it the highest score out of all three of us, even if it's just by 1 point. I just wanted to get your take on it, why you gave it that 1 point higher.
Now that I was looking back on it, I don't know why we all didn't give it an A+. I don't really know what that match was missing. From going out to the what do you call it, where the merchandise is, going back in, and it was just all.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You can't really ask for more.
Yeah, and I like the going into the crowd immediately. That was pretty sweet, and going backstage and going by where the not backstage, but like where people are buying stuff in concessions, and just seeing them utilize that area and that space, I thought was pretty sweet. As a fan, if I were back there, I'd be disappointed in myself that I'm missing the match. Two, I'd be pretty excited to see them show up right next to me.
You know what? I'll throw a hot take in. I really don't like the run around the ring and smack into the other person's body. I mean, if you did it, no, but if you did it every once in a while, you don't have to do it every single match you're in.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, I totally forgot about how they went out into the arena and the concessions and the merchandise stands, because I remember when they went out there and he took that. I think it was I forgot which one of the two, but they just took the bump against the wall, and we were like, "Yo, that's a concrete wall, dude. Like that ain't no fucking joke right there."
Yeah, and landed right on the concrete ground.
Yeah, so it was just concrete on concrete, and overall, dude, it was just fun to watch this match. I mean, the ending for it was as gimmicky as it can be, with the giant kind of coming out of it, like unscathed, like all that. It was perfect for these two guys. I mean, they're considered, that they're built like, just fucking massive bricks just walking around the place. So I overall, this definitely deserved a good A to A+ from us for sure. So moving on from that, we have the championship match for the WWE title, which was Kofi Kingston defending against Samoa Joe. In the end, we have Kingston perform the SOS for Neil pinfall. Then Kingston performs the Trouble in Paradise to retain the title. I mean, the one kind of memorable spot that I can only remember this was Joe crushed Kofi Kingston's hand between the steel steps. And overall, this match for me, it's going to sound harsh, but I think we all agree that this match was just very, very lackluster. And as much as we love Samoa Joe as a heel, it was just missing a lot of things. And I actually gave it the highest score that I giving it a 70. And then we have Colin giving it a 63 and then Matt a 60. This match just didn't do it for me. I mean, I think both performers are great. I would have loved to see Samoa Joe maybe take a disqualification on this one and just beat the shit out of Kofi, but that didn't happen. Matt, you're giving it the lowest score of the night. Curious about your take on it, because it seemed like you enjoyed it less than Colin and myself did.
Yep. I mean, I just really dislike when they make Samoa Joe look so weak. Just taking that SOS and then falling down like he was in control the entire match. And just for him to take one move, one finisher, just kills it for me. And
yeah,
I just want to see him do better.
And it's not about how powerful Kofi's finisher is, because you look at how big Samoa Joe is. Like, he could withstand a couple of those. Come on, you got to make him lose a little better.
I mean, and we've seen Samoa Joe go against Brock Lesnar and be a suitable threat to Brock Lesnar in the ring. and that same individual just losing to Kofi Kingston really quickly after dominating the entire match just killed it for me, and that's why I gave it a 60.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just very lackluster, and it's weird because I kind of feel like in the same way they're kind of burying Joe a little bit with him kind of coming out as like with all these people like, oh, I'm the big bad heel, here I come, and everyone's pumped to see him take the W for a title of any kind, and it just always kind of never happens.
Yeah.
So
The curse of Impact Wrestling.
Oh God, the Dixie Carter curse.
Yep.
It's just, yeah, it just sucked to see this because, I kind of feel like for me and my hot take on this, and I don't care what anybody says, as much as we all love Kofi Kingston, for me, his title run is just not doing it for me at all.
And that's why I said strip him of the gold.
Yeah, it just needs to happen because, for one, as over as the New Day is, we all love the New Day, but him just as the champion himself, I kind of feel like he's a little bit more separated from the New Day, which he should be for sure. But him just as a solo champion, it wouldn't be as good, if anything, with him, because he still is in the New Day. But his championship reign for me is just becoming very just stale, and I'm just sick. I'm just, quite honestly, it's going to sound harsh, I'm just sick of it.
And I think that's what we'll speak to with the final match, because that's how we all felt about Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I mean, getting into the next match, I mean, we all gave it a very high score, and I think the reason we gave it a very high score was because of the ending, which of course we'll get to, which I don't give a fuck what any of you marks think out there. I thought it was awesome. I know we all popped for it in Matt's apartment. I mean, we were standing up from the couch. So in the main event, of course, go ahead.
Yeah,
Matt.
sorry. I mean, there is another big event in this match, which I thought was sick, but Alex, proceed. Lead us into it.
Okay, so rounding out the Extreme Rules pay-per-view on the main card, the main event of the night, we had the winners take all, mixed match kind of tag team match. We have Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans, of course, Baron Corbin, the most over guy in WWE, versus the Universal Champion Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, who is, of course, the Raw Women's Champion. The winners take all, whoever, if Seth and Becky win, they keep their titles. If Lacey puts a pin on anybody or if Baron puts a pin on anybody, they take the titles. This match I didn't think was bad at all. It was a very good match. It definitely took the pay-per-view home from where it needed to be. Definitely gave it that element of, this pay-per-view actually was very good. I mean, there was some memorable spots. I mean, we had Rollins and Lynch setting up the tables on the outside, the kendo sticks with Baron going after him and Lacey as well. And of course, the biggest spot of the night, I think, besides the leg drop on Evans, while, Rollins performing the frog splash on Corbin, which I don't care what anyone thinks. I thought it was awesome. Of course, we had kind of going back to the Attitude Era guys. We had Corbin delivering the end of days to Becky Lynch.
That's what I think is the sickest part of the match.
Yeah.
Because we all looked at each other and were like, they just did that? They allowed that to happen?
Well, see, It's interesting because from the beginning of the match, we know it's a no disqualification match, which means that rule, if you hit the other person, the opposite sex, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of, well, when's it going to happen?
It definitely was a matter of that for sure. And we were all kind of wondering if maybe we all kind of weren't even thinking about it, to be honest. I mean, to admit to it, now that I think about it, it should have been one of the things where I should have thought of. But when that happened, we all looked at each other in silence and we were just like, holy fucking shit. Like they just did that.
The crowd went ballistic.
So then, of course, at the end of the match, we have an irate Rollins who sees that and he just goes absolutely ape shit on Baron Corbin. I mean, he did 3 stomps to retain it. He just wanted to kick his ass.
And that's after Baron Corbin called him a little shit, I think.
What was it? Because I remember you said, because when we were watching
the live that the mic picked up.
Yeah, he's like, what are you gonna do about it, you little shit? Or bitch, I don't know which one he said, but he said one of the two. And they cut out the audio. Right.
Yeah.
Right,
so of course we have Rollins just taking it all out on, Baron Corbin, 3 stomps, and he retains his Universal title for himself and Becky Lynch's. So we think, okay, that was a pretty good pay-per-view. Wow, that was actually a decent match, especially with those last few spots.
Cue the music.
But then cue the music, ladies and gentlemen. The Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar himself, who, of course, Paul Heyman early in the night, we have to remember, he came out early in the night and said, my client will cash in tonight. Michael Cole, respectively, right after that, saying, he's lied before. This always happens. He always says that, which it's true. But then we get Lesnar in the ring in full gear ready. And we're thinking, oh, maybe he's going to cash in, maybe not. Maybe he's just going to beat the shit out of all them. And, of course, we hear the announcement, Brock Lesnar is cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. And we all popped for that. I mean, we can say what we want about Lesnar, kind of taking the title for a long time. But it was just, we just love a good heel. And anything with Paul Heyman we love. So, of course, Lesnar performs 2 German suplexes and then the great F5 on Rollins to win the Universal Championship for a 3rd time. I mean, I gave this, if you're going to include the Lesnar part within this match, I mean, I'm giving it a solid 90. You guys are giving it a 97, so overall it averages out to a 95, which is just a solid A to an A+. Great spots. I loved it. It definitely drove the pay-per-view home and gave the pay-per-view way more credibility than we were expecting. Matt, your take on it giving it a 97?
The whole match or just the Brock Lesnar part?
I do both. I'd say do both. I mean, or you can just do the Brock Lesnar because we kind of already covered the match at the same time.
Okay, so if you don't know me, I am a huge Brock Lesnar fan. I don't care what anybody says. If Brock Lesnar comes into the ring, I expect him to dominate, and I want to see him come on top. I don't care how many times he's got to defend his championship. But I definitely jumped out of my seat as well when I heard the music. I was a little skeptical. I didn't know if he was just gonna fuck with them.
I think that was kind of what's all of our first thoughts was it was just gonna be like a beat down or him fucking with somebody.
And I wasn't sure if Seth Rollins gonna grab one of those like kendo sticks or something and actually hit him. But once Brock Lesnar, it was official. I knew he was gonna be the champion. I'm not upset about it. I'm hoping somebody else other than Seth Rollins can dethrone him down the line. As I mentioned, I'm not really too excited for SummerSlam. That was one of my fears going into it. It's just, okay, we're going to see this rematch we've seen a couple times already. But, yeah, I mean, it was fun. It got the crowd pissed off, and obviously it got some of us happy. Even there was some chants throughout the night that were chanting, "We want Brock," and then people were responding with, "No, we don't."
Kind of the back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, with this Paul Heyman era that's about to come in, we should see something exciting, and I think we actually might see more of Brock Lesnar, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, absolutely. Colin, your take on everything?
I mean, I agree with both of you guys. A huge Brock Lesnar fan. I know we put it right up on Twitter, and we got a little bit of backlash from people saying, oh, they don't want a champion who is just going to be there at the pay-per-views. But, I mean, it doesn't matter. Brock just, like you said, dominates. You can't not have him cash in and win. It's the only way around it.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? We'll see where this goes, of course, especially with Heyman's, executive director role. And maybe, hopefully, they're not going to make it like last time where Lesnar just has the belt forever. But I thought it was great. I mean, it was a great way to end the pay-per-view. And, he was going to need to cash in at some point. And I think that was the right crowd, the right place, and the right time to do it for sure. So overall, we gave this, show just a good, solid, I think it was a B+.
No.
Around there.
B.
Or B. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely just a really good, solid show. I mean, like we said, we went into this not expecting it to be that well, and it came out way better than we expected. And the matches were good. We had some parts that we were not a fans of. That's going to happen with any pay-per-view for sure. And especially the ending, which we all popped for, was just awesome. So overall, a solid B. And then of course, the following night we have the Raw Fallout. Which, of course, we have the Brock Lesnar kicking off the show. So, Matt, why don't you take us through the Raw review real quick?
So, my Raw review for this week, I actually graded it pretty low. Coming off a really, what I would consider a good pay-per-view, I was very disappointed by what I watched on Monday night. I gave it a C-. Colin, you gave it a C. Some
You're
of
not
my
too far
lowest
off.
points of this Raw was the Viking Vader. The Viking Raiders.
That's all
in a
right. They'll probably
squash
call them that
match.
at some point.
Yeah, they'll call them something. Yeah, whatever. They'll change their
They're-
name 6 times.
The
Just
White
did
Claw drinkers.
another squash match. It's not doing it for me. I'm not a fan of squash matches, especially nobody's. I mean, if there were people on the roster, randos. I know they did it with Braun Strowman to try to make him look cool when he was doing all those handicap matches. Just doesn't do it for me. And then,
What about the Ronda Rousey squash matches, though?
well, she's facing legitimate people.
Yeah, but it's still a squash match. Are you saying you don't like squash matches with like just jobbers that we don't know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But if you put him against somebody suitable, like, Ronda Rousey has gone against other women from the
the great
roster.
Alicia Fox.
Yeah, then it makes sense. People who think that they can beat her. In the rest of this match, just wasn't doing it for me. We saw Ricochet and the Usos versus Bobby Roode and the Revival, so that was interesting. Just having Ricochet versus Bobby Roode again. We saw that before, but it was decent. It wasn't nothing really crazy. Building off the Cedric Alexander, Drew McIntyre match. I don't know, David and Goliath kind of thing going on, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I totally think, to backtrack real quick, I thought this was a fun Raw, to be honest. I mean, I would give it probably like a C+ to a B-, but my match of the night definitely for me was that first match, which not a lot of people were a fan of, with the Ricochet Usos versus Bobby Roode and Revival. I thought this was a fun, fast-paced match, of course, kind of building up Ricochet's reputation after losing the title. So I honestly thought it was good. But obviously we have the great spot of the night, which we had Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe in a fairly quick match. And then of course we have Finn kind of, doing his after the match, post-match after losing, beating down Samoa Joe, kind of, be like, oh, well, I'm still here.
I think the match sucked. It wasn't good, but it was the after match, which was good. Post-match.
I think that was, yes. I think
that's what we've rated a lot of things on.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing it. But you know what? That's not a bad thing. If you have a bad match and then you have a bad spot after it, who's not going to like the return of Bray Wyatt as the Fiend?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that moment for me, I have goosebumps just thinking about it now, because when I didn't think we were going to see him in the ring. And if we were, I thought, all the lights are going to go on, but the way that they did it, just with those spotlights and everything, and then the lights come on and then it just hits, the Sister Abigail, was just definitely for me one of the, if not one of the moments of the year, it is the moment of the year for me so far. I mean, I just thought it was overall awesome. And of course, it's great to see this new character, which is actually pretty goddamn scary if we think about it, to come back, debut, and have Bray Wyatt as a whole come back and just kind of kick that off. And overall, I thought that moment was just great and something we're going to be talking about for a while and just see where it goes,
Yeah. And moving along, Colin, jump in whenever you want, because I know you watched it and graded it too. Zack Ryder versus Mike Kanellis. I mean, good for Zack Ryder to get on TV.
But for what, 4 seconds?
Yeah, on Long Island, his hometown. It just wasn't doing it for me. Just the quick match.
That was it. There was nothing there to be done for anybody.
Yeah. Additionally, Lucha House Party versus the Club. Not feeling it. Boring. And that we can just keep going on about all the negatives of the episode, but probably the two biggest takeaways coming from here is four-way number one contender match: Naomi versus Natalya versus Carmella versus Alexa Bliss. Winner gets to face Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. And Natalya won. Colin, how'd you feel? You gave this an 80. I gave it an 85, average 83. How'd you feel about this match?
I think this match's only downfall was that it went too long. I think I was listening to other podcasts and radio stations. I think they said this match went 27 minutes.
Really?
And the Long Island crowd just they demolished them with the boring chants. This is awful.
CM Punk.
I think to the point
CM
where
Punk ones in there too. Yeah.
to the point where Alexa Bliss got on Twitter and just she really broke a character about how demeaning that was. So I mean, I think the first 10 minutes it was awesome, but I think they just let it go a little too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Carmella should have won for my taste. But
Yeah, and we know that
course.
Natalia won, and she's going to face her in Canada, her home country, which we mentioned in the beginning of the podcast. But that was probably one of the better segments of the night. The next best segment I would consider is R-Truth regaining that WWE 24/7 championship.
Oh, that was just awesome. I loved it. I mean,
hysterical.
Especially we have the whole screenshot of Drake Maverick just, standing around and nothing but his birthday suit and the title around his waist. I mean, it was just. For me, well, this episode I'm going to say that the Bray Wyatt return stole the show.
Yeah.
But other than that, of course, once again, the 24/7 championship takes it away again as well.
Just such a great promo. You have R-Truth slipping the concierge $1 bill after Drake just gave him 100.
Yeah.
I think he says at the end, like, I hope you're not constipated anymore. Like, he's just fucking running with the joke still. And it's just so awesome.
Yeah. And the main event of this episode was the Battle Royal to determine number one contender to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. We all know now it is Seth Rollins who was victorious, saw it coming, wasn't excited, pretty disappointed. No teasing of somebody else it could be, just straight up. We knew it was going to be him.
They just could have done it so much better. Even from the people who were involved in the match.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I gave it a C-. I just wasn't excited. I had no fun watching it. Probably should have fell asleep during it. Colin, I'm glad you didn't go since you were on Long Island. You would have wasted your money, I think.
And that's what I saw from a lot of people on Twitter. They were actually disappointed in going. I mean, I think I would have been happy just with the return of Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
But honestly, I didn't like it so much that I probably would have left during the Battle Royal because everybody knows leaving the new Coliseum and anywhere, traffic on Long Island is just terrible.
Yeah.
I would have rather sat in traffic than watch Seth Rollins win that Battle Royal.
You could have sat in traffic and watched it on PlayStation View.
Ooh, that is true. I would have loved to see Sami Zayn win this. I'm a big Sami Zayn mark, so it just would have been.
I wanted to see
that makes
Bobby
makes one of us.
I want Bobby Lashley, and he's, in my eyes, him and Braun Strowman are the only ones who are capable of beating Brock Lesnar at this point, and just, again, completely underutilized on this roster.
Yeah, I think I gotta agree with you there.
All right, well,
even though towards the end I thought Randy Orton was kind of killing it.
Yeah, but
I thought that too.
Well, moving along, SmackDown Live in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester?
I don't know. Is it Worcester?
White Clawsville.
I don't know.
I
Alex,
don't
you're
know
from
how
New
they say
England.
it.
How do
They
you
all
say
say Worcester.
I don't even ask me how to say it. I live an hour away from it. I always have to ask people, and I get 10 different answers. I'm like, Worcester.
I was there.
Worcester. That's how they say it. Worcester. I'm like, Worcester. It's not even. That's how it sounds. If you look at how it's spelled, like Worcester.
Worcester. I was there last week for a show.
I think it's Worcester.
And I was like, why is it? Where are you going? I was like, Worcester.
Rooster.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
All right, well,
I'm going
Worcester,
to
Massachusetts. SmackDown Live opens up with Shane McMahon's town
Hosting
hall.
the first ever town hall.
Town hall. Make all the superstars look like complete idiots. Have them out on stage like it's school and they gotta talk and blah 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 blah. All the
it was
heels are
awful.
like, Shane's doing great. All the people who haven't talked are like, nah, 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 nah.
I loved when Andrade was and Selena Vega were like, "Oh, he's doing so good. We love him." Da da da. And I was like, "Dude, like you guys are so underutilized on this roster. You guys should be competing for the fucking championship."
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, he's doing great." I was like, "This is the worst." I mean, the only good part of it I thought was Buddy Murphy, him saying, "Oh, SmackDown's best kept secret." That was the only good part of it for me. Otherwise, it was just like, "What the fuck is this shit, man?"
Yeah. And
No, I like the Liv Morgan going after Charlotte.
we don't know where that's gonna go either, because
We all do. We all.
Liv Morgan having that post-match breakdown, whatever that was, new type of character, maybe. Who knows? We don't know what's gonna happen.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
You think her tongue's gonna be green for St. Patrick's Day, or?
Oh God, one can only hope.
Yeah.
We're just saying what everybody's thinking, folks.
But yeah, that was us on Twitter. That one guy, like, no one else is thinking that besides you.
Oh, he gave me so much hate. Like, whatever, dude.
He gave you hate, and then you're like, just say what everyone's thinking. And then everyone started liking your tweet. I was like, all right, we're good. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, that segment of the town hall just didn't do it for me. I thought it might have been cool. And then when I saw it executed, I was fairly disappointed.
It was a good idea on paper, but just poorly executed.
Yeah. And then, that segues into Shane McMahon taking a horrible stunner. Just couldn't connect and just looked terrible.
Oh, that's right, because he fell down at first, and then Kevin Owens had to pick him back up.
Yeah, it was a complete botch job. See that on Botchamania later, but whatever. It led to the next match, which is Aleister Black and Cesaro round 2.
Yep.
Decent. As I said, from the pay-per-view, I don't want to see a rematch so soon. What was the point of me watching this on pay-per-view if I'm just going to see it again on SmackDown? And WWE is definitely guilty of doing that a lot, where you see matches just happen again on Raw. And it's like, okay, well, what the fuck was the point of me investing my time Sunday night watching it?
I mean, that's been happening for
Ever.
years now. Yeah. And I remember when I first really started getting into pro wrestling was during the Ruthless Aggression era. So it's like 2003 to 2006. I was a fanatic. And I remember begging my parents, like the only pay-per-view they would order is like WrestleMania, or maybe once in a while we got New Year's Revolution or the Royal Rumble. And I remember begging my stepdad, like, come on, let's just order it. And he's like, dude, like, you're going to find out who's going to win tomorrow night. And guess what? They're going to have a rematch. He's like, there's no point in it.
Yeah.
So it's just been going on for years for sure.
It needs to end. I'm tired of it. It was a good match. It was fun. Like we mentioned in the pay-per-view, these guys are just really good working together. They're telling a good story in the ring, if that's what you want to call it. Just good technical wrestling, good striking ability, and great selling from both ends.
And that's why I gave it an 87, the highest of the night, is because it was just you could kind of tell that was the theme of the night for SmackDown. So yeah, it was good wrestling. It was fun to watch for me.
Yep. And moving along, Charlotte Flair versus Liv Morgan.
Oh yeah.
I thought this was good for Liv Morgan. We haven't seen Charlotte Flair in a while, so another, that's pretty cool to see her too. And Liv Morgan displayed some moves I've never seen her do before.
It was awesome.
Pretty smooth at doing them. Her Hurricanranas are looking good.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed.
That was the first time she wrestled since WrestleMania.
Yeah, and
on TV.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like what? That's 3 months right there.
And she doesn't. I'm reading here. She does not have a singles win on the main roster.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think once when she bugged out at the end of the night and she grabbed the headset and said when she comes back she's going to be real. I can't wait to see that. They really have to do a good job with that story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see more of her moveset utilized. Like I said, I was surprised by what she displayed. So I'm looking forward to seeing a new Liv Morgan and see what this new character direction goes toward. And Charlotte Flair also won by the figure 8, which is a rarity, so that's pretty cool.
You love that, and I love how you point it out every time it happens.
It's not often, so
I know. I texted you as soon as it happened.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching it too, but it's just sometimes it happens, just not often. Ember Moon and Bayley versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. This match leads to Ember Moon being chosen by Bayley to face her at SummerSlam. How do you feel about the champion choosing who is facing them at a pay-per-view?
I think it was one of the announcers, I think, said it. The only reason she chose her is because she knows she could beat her, rather than her whole speech, it's somebody who's deserving.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a good heel tactic and a good way to like kind of write that into a storyline for sure. But it also kind of doesn't give us. It gives us on one hand kind of the whole underdog thing, like, oh, she knows she can beat Ember Moon. Will Ember Moon rise up to the occasion? I mean, yeah, we've all seen that played out 100 times. I like to see number one contenders work their asses off for it. It gives you a long-term investment into a storyline that keeps it fresh of them kind of working up the ranks, which hopefully we'll see in AEW with, the whole wins and losses matter. But overall, I think the match I think in SummerSlam is going to be good. But at the same time, I would have loved to see them put a little bit more investment time into Ember Moon and making her look bigger and stronger than she already is.
Yeah.
See, I would have liked it the other way. I would have liked Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville to win.
Really?
And then one of them.
Because, I didn't expect them to do the Ember Moon getting the title shot. And, Bayley, obviously, you just fought and you retained your title. So, why not give it to the other?
But how do you feel about Bayley just choosing who's going to be the champion? So, as a champion, I get to choose who I battle. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't really... I don't care. I don't.
What if Brock Lesnar was just choosing who he wants to face all the time? You wouldn't care about that?
But, is it really her, or is that creative?
I'm just saying. Don't let kayfabe get to you. Keep it kayfabe.
Break the third wall, Colin. You can do it.
Yeah. All right, whatever. I guess we're not going to talk about
he's
that.
Like, Colin's just
I
don't give a shit.
Fuck.
He's like, I don't give a fuck. Just put the title on Liv Morgan. Next match.
That or Mandy Rose. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. New Day versus Samoa Joe and Elias and Randy Orton, all champions in one match versus these guys. They kind of diss Randy Orton, and pretty interesting outcome of who ends up winning. So.
That is true. Yeah, we had the Apex Predator caught the champion with an RKO to win. Overall, I thought this match was fairly decent. I enjoyed it a lot. It definitely could have been a lot better, and the amount of talent. Of course, my boy Elias was in it, so I was all about it, and it definitely kind of played Joe more into the role of his rivalry with Kofi. But overall, I thought it was just a very, very good match, but at the same time, just very meh, okay, kind of a filler,
Yeah, but how many times have we seen it? And we spoke on the 6-man tags that they just keep doing.
Yeah, once in a while it's okay.
Oh, don't get me wrong. That was a good way to do it, especially because they let the New Day lose.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have a problem with it. I think I gave it a B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it a B as well.
Yeah. And it's just nice to see Randy Orton, who's obviously a fan favorite, no matter if he's a heel or a face, get the win. I haven't seen him in a while in action, so that RKO to Kofi Kingston, just, it worked for me. WWE.
They are the 3 most electrifying letters in sports entertainment.
Yeah. WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. The Iconics versus the Kabuki Warrior.
Oh, I fucking hate that tag name. I hate that name. I'm sorry. They are such good performers. And when that page came out, I was like, that Kabuki Warriors. I was like, son of a fucking bitch. Like,
I don't know
what
why
is
they're
this?
with Paige, but
Yeah, it's so weird.
making the tag team championships look horrible. I mean, I know the Iconics are capable of a lot more and just being completely underutilized in this sense.
Then running away and
Yeah.
retaining the title like that.
Yeah, it's just a weak move. And sometimes, if the match was 15 minutes and they did that, okay. Maybe they're like, oh, I'm not going to win, but, let me just do a dirty heelish move and get out of here. Just because I know they're more capable.
See, I love the Iconics. I'll be the first one to admit I love their whole gimmick. But at the same time, if they're going to do the whole kind of cheap heel thing where they run away or kind of cheat to get the win, they still got to let them back it up by doing some fucking badass moves, which we know they can do.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at when they were, just look at when they did that whole Super Showdown thing in their home country of Australia, in Melbourne. I mean, they can do the whole kind of, getting the DQ or kind of sliding out from, getting the win from under somebody, but they have to be able to back it up. And I feel like they're being so underutilized in that kind of, sense.
I agree.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. Everything you said.
All right. So enough about that match because it was a huge letdown.
Kabuki Warriors, kind of fucking.
Andrade.
Say when he hears that, it's good shit.
Andrade versus Apollo
A+
Crews.
name, guys.
So Apollo Crews got to talk at the town hall, tell people about his feelings, and Andrade talk shit back. Now they're facing each other. Good for Apollo Crews getting on TV and doing his thing. Andrade still looking stellar, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Apollo Crews got the win in this one, right? Because I remember
He did.
if I can remember. Yeah, I thought that was awesome for him. I mean, I thought the match was definitely not the best, and it was a good filler. But I was actually stoked that he actually got a win, and especially over a superstar like Andrade, who has high stock.
I think
in the company.
Andrade was working him pretty well, and then Apollo got him in a crucifix pin.
yeah. Yeah, it was like a shocker. Like, oh my God, no way did you got me. But, maybe this is a step towards utilizing more of the roster. I don't know. I think they're using the CM Punk pipe bomb from the past, applying it to Kevin Owens and him doing his little twist on the pipeline, calling out certain people, like letting you know that they recognize that these individuals aren't being utilized. I'm not sure.
And just their names need to be heard.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where it's going to go, but I don't think it's going to be revolutionary.
Yeah. Totally
One
agree
can
with
only hope.
Yeah. And then to wrap up SmackDown, we have Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler in a legitimate match. Kevin Owens picked up the win. But
I thought it ended in a no contest.
did it?
that. Yeah.
Because he just ran out.
What? Oh. Colin, you recap
Yeah.
it then. I must have not cared so much.
I mean, I'm just saying you were correcting Alex, so it's now your turn to be corrected.
Yeah.
get
Speaking of which, I hope my Kabuki Warrior shirt comes in this week. No, it ended actually. What happens is we have Owen. He hits Ziggler with a stunner, but Boy Wonder pulled KO out of the ring, and Owens hit Shane with a stunner and ran out of the arena to avoid everybody kind of chasing after him and everything. And McMahon's declaring he's gonna make KO pay. I mean, it kind of ended on a very lackluster note. I know
You
if
know
I was.
what, though? I'm honestly glad it ended that way rather than Kevin Owens get the shit beat out of him, just like Shane is known for doing on all the other episodes that we've seen. So I'm glad he got the last fuck you in on Shane and dipped before they got him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but we're totally right on that. We're totally in agreement. But at the same time, I just felt like I know if I was in that arena and paid tickets and that's how it ended, I'd be like, okay.
Well, you get to
fuck
stay.
this.
You get to stick around for 205 Live. So
Oh, that is true. I mean, yeah. I just feel like I would be pretty pissed off if that's how the main show ended. But then again, you look at 205 Live, anything they put on that show, because, obviously Triple H has the final say in that. It's just going to always knock it out of the park. But ending our...
And I think something happened on 205. I saw it come up. Someone did a hurricane into the the steps. I got to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I haven't even had a chance to check it out this week yet myself.
Yeah.
I think it was the main event was the Kabuki. Never mind, I'm not going to even make a joke.
It's dead and gone, dude. Let it go.
Kabuki.
All right, Colin, why don't you
flavored White Claws.
wrap up NXT for us for this week of wrestling?
I think this was the greatest product that they put out this week, obviously, which it usually always is. I gave it an A-.
Yeah.
Alex, I know we were going back and forth because I know you were watching. We were probably on like a 5-minute delay.
Yeah.
But, it started out with Matt Riddle versus. There's no shot I'm saying this dude's name.
Arturo Ruas, I believe is how you pronounce it.
And it was just fucking incredible. I gave it a 95.
Yeah, I think I didn't give the scores on our Google Doc sheet, but I think when I was trying to check it on my phone because I couldn't pull it up, I think I gave this match a 92. It was just a fun, fast-paced match to watch and very technical at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's what really did it. When I know I was watching it with my brother who hasn't watched wrestling in forever, and it kind of felt like a UFC fight, especially the way it ended. She ended it in a knockout.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And then, of course, right after the match, we have the return of Killian Dane getting called back down to NXT, but not a detriment to him in any way, because you look at how he came back, he beat the living shit out of Matt Riddle.
He wiped the arena floor with him.
He just decimated him. And, of course, we have the spot where he power bombs him at the top near the Titantron through the floor. And just made Killian Dane look like an absolute beast. And now we're going to see, Killian Dane was in Sanity and had, the whole faction run. And now we're going to see him as a singles competitor. And I think this was a great way to kind of start off his NXT career again.
That was a great way to start. There was just so much action.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, right after that, we have Mia Yim attacks Marina Shafir in the parking lot. It seems like Mia Yim, especially I could sense it at the NXT TakeOver 25 when they did the tapings for them. The crowd was behind her a lot, and she's starting to get a lot of traction now. And it seems like Mia Yim's going to be kind of the next number one contender for possibly Shayna Baszler's title. I know she's kind of going around attacking Shayna Baszler and her horsewomen and kind of doing all these acts to her. So now we're going to get to see Mia Yim as maybe one of the top, women in NXT, which I think, quite honestly, guys, I think it's her time to be one of those.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah. And then moving along, we had, for the breakout tournament, we had Bronson Reed versus Dexter Lumis. I enjoyed this a lot. I thought
it was awesome.
Yeah, and I thought them debuting Dexter Lumis's match, or excuse me, his gimmick, fucking awesome. This guy is built like a brick shit house, and you just take one look at this guy and his whole look, and you're like, yeah, that's the shit they write horror movies about. Just like, it was just besides the match overall was great. I gave it an 88. And I think this breakout tournament at the same time is a great way to get some talent who may not have time for TV time because they're, these big indie guys or these indie guys who are on the rise and, they're still kind of, getting their feel at the, training center. I just thought this match was overall great. And Dexter Lumis, I'm a mark for him already. I'm saying that much.
No, definitely. I love what the breakout tournament has been doing. There was everything you wanted in this match. They had, I'm reading here, the crossbodies, there was drops, there was lands, a high flying. Everything was just so connected. It was done so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we talk about, Kushida versus Apollo Crews. And this match for me was fucking awesome. And you could just see Apollo Crews was happy to be there, back down in NXT, back to get that freedom to kind of do what he wants to do. And
especially off of that little win from with Andrade.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. and to go against Kushida too was just awesome. They played to each other's strengths a lot, which I thought
Definitely.
was great.
And technical as fuck match.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we have Cruz coming back to NXT, and I think his last run in NXT, he was definitely this over smiley baby face. I was like, come on, let's go. But like his athleticism always kind of put it over the line, and to just make him a very big player. So I think for myself, it's just going to be fun to see him kind of go back to NXT, kind of like how Tyler Breeze is kind of back there in a sense at the same time. So it's just going to be overall fun to see what he's going to do back in NXT.
Yeah, speaking of, Tyler Breeze had that spot with the Forgotten Sons.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. It's weird because this is gonna sound. I just don't know, and I can't stand the Forgotten Sons. I think they're not bad performers. Just they are just annoying the shit out of me on NXT.
A little too much they're doing, you think?
I don't know if it's their gimmick. I don't know if it's just them. I don't know what it is about these guys that I'm just like, oh my god, like come on, like this is just like.
Because there was a point when we saw them at Takeover 25. I was like, I think they're gonna fucking do it. I really think they're gonna win.
Oh yeah, I think it was like kind of like 25% way into the match. Even I thought, I was like, they're gonna take the titles for sure. Matt, what are your opinions on the Forgotten Sons?
Well, some of them are Marines, so I have no choice but to like them. Being someone in the military, I have to back up my veterans,
You have to, regardless if you like them or not.
That's why I like Lacey Evans. So
Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the only reason.
that's not the only reason, but
I mean that one back shot of her with the camera angle that I had to rewind for you guys. I'm like, holy shit, they just did that. You're like, did what? What'd they do? And I'm like, check it out, hold on, and I'm showing.
I don't like the way this Connecticutan just made fun of our New York accent.
Oh, now I'm gonna get a White Claw pegged in my fucking skull.
Exactly, you earned that one.
I'm gonna get the kabuki claw. And then to round out NXT, we have Adam Cole cutting a promo on his match, discussing the power shift and how the Undisputed Era is going to take it over, and he's there to stay, and he's going to face an opponent of his choosing, and of course he takes Twan Tucker out of the AIW school, which of course Johnny Gargano has had moments with in the past, has helped train there, and we've seen this kid before kind of wear the belt. So Tucker comes out and says like, oh, like, I'll face you, but are you alone? Like, no shenanigans, da-da-da. Cole's, making sure like, oh, no, they're in the back. Don't worry about it. No one's coming out. And he goes, well, that sucks because I didn't come alone. And then we have Johnny Gargano Cue Johnny Gargano just come out and just beats the living shit throughout the whole crowd and everything. And so we don't get a main event match. We have, Gargano returning for, Cole versus Gargano 3, which of course is going to be blown. It's going to blow away the show again. But of course, we have the great spot of that is with Cole on the floor, and he's kind of saying like, "I'm all right, like screw him, I'm good." And then Johnny just coming at him with a
comes flying
at him. So of course, this sets up Gargano and Cole 3 at NXT Takeover Toronto, and of course,
William Regal came out saying that they're going to do I don't know in which order it is, but it's Adam Cole's match of his choosing. Yeah. Then Johnny Gargano's match of his choosing, and then William Regal gets to choose the last one.
The third stipulation, yeah. And I it's funny because I don't remember the last time I saw a match like this. I think it was a 3 Stages of Hell match with Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin, like way back in the day. So this is going to be interesting to see. And
I watched that match last night.
Oh, no shit, really?
Yeah. Oh, Triple H took the last 2 legs of it.
Yeah. So I feel like this is going to be. It's interesting to see a stipulations, like that. And I'm really hoping this match goes on for at least an hour. We need a good hour, like Gargano Cole match.
Definitely. It almost makes me want to buy tickets to wherever it's going to be and go because it's just going to be fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was there at TakeOver Brooklyn during the first 2 out of 3 Falls match, and my emotions were absolutely crazy at the time. I literally jumped up at my seat, on top of my seat, with my beer spilling all over me when I thought Adam Cole was going to win, only for Johnny Gargano to win. However,
I mean,
yeah,
that was me at TakeOver 25 when he won the title, and I had the two kids next to me, and I'm buying a ticket alone. I'm yelling, "Holy fucking shit! Oh my fucking god!" The dad's looking at me like, "Hey, pipe down."
but I think, my emotions and your emotions at TakeOver 25, me and Colin were also at TakeOver 25, and we're excited when he won. And I think these two individuals are extremely good at putting on the show that we want to see, and
Yeah.
to take us away from the fact that we know it's like scripted, and it lets us go back in time for when we believed it was real and we didn't know
when
what was
it really
gonna
first
happen.
got you hooked.
What's up?
I said when it really first got you hooked, they appeal to that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like the uncertainty of who's gonna win. They're both great athletes, and just the excitement overall. So, I think if Adam Cole loses, Undisputed Era definitely has to get called up.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he sticks around at least for a while, and maybe, I mean, we're eventually going to see Gargano versus Ciampa. What is it, 3 or 4? I think it's 4. But I would love to see Cole versus Ciampa versus Gargano. I mean, I feel like that would just be a fucking great triple threat match, or even make it a fatal 4-way and throw maybe someone like, an elimination 4-way like Matt Riddle, like maybe throw him in the mix.
Yeah. Well, this was definitely an interesting weekend of wrestling. Although we covered, Fight for the Fallen last time, we covered Extreme Rules just a day later for this episode. One of the topics we talked about last time was the potential of leaving the PG era. And we tweeted one little part of Extreme Rules, which could have hinted at WWE taking steps in that direction very subtly. And that, of course, is Lacey Evans' shot as she's entering the ring. The cameraman, clearly on purpose, zooms in on her butt as she's
doing
in.
God's work. Yeah.
It was it was a great shot. And I'm not gonna
he was just trying to capture the fact that she had Seth embroidered into her shorts.
Yeah, but it was such
it worked. It worked for all of us.
It worked for everybody. But on top of that, we mentioned Baron Corbin calling Seth Rollins, a little shit or whatever he said, hitting Becky Lynch, in WWE at least. Tessa Blanchard in Impact is facing Sami Callihan at Slammiversary, and that's a woman versus a man in the main event of that pay-per-view. But for WWE, this was a big move when he hit the end of days on her. Then the next night, you have Natalya calling Becky Lynch a bitch, and you're starting to see a little bit more of these words get dropped and a little bit more feistiness in these wrestlers. So curious to see where it all goes. And maybe Fox is apparently having a lot of pull on things. Maybe Fox executives will see the success of AEW and will want them to push more towards that TV 14 rating that they used to have. So for now, we're still in the PG era, even though they're pushing the limits. I don't know. I mean, how do you all feel about it so far?
I think it's definitely going to be one of those things where they're doing this for ratings to compete with AEW, and they're going to try to keep, obviously, their teenage fans. But I've already talked about it, and I think that's kind of my take on it. And I feel like it's a good move for both parties, and especially to keep their crowd invested at the same time.
Yeah, you definitely have to push the envelope. Nothing was accomplished by being, what do you call it?
Staying safe. Staying in the safe
exactly.
zone.
You know what I'm trying to say. You got to break out. You got to branch out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, anything else we would like to mention before we wrap up? Any last-minute hot takes or thoughts?
I mean, what do we got coming up this week? We got the Raw reunion tomorrow night.
Yep, of course, that's going to be awesome. And, of course, next episode, we're going to be discussing that in depth for sure.
And then you got HBK, like we said, he's going to be doing the special guest commentating on SmackDown. And then I think Saturday is the event, Smackville.
Smackville, what is that?
That's the next pay-per-view.
For what promotion? Smackville.
It's Raw, SmackDown.
Yeah, apparently. An upcoming professional wrestling show and WWE Network event produced by WWE for Raw and SmackDown brands. It will take place on July 27th, 2019 at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
I didn't even know about that. Wow, that's like a kind of a network special for this coming weekend, you said?
I saw it on something before that Kofi was going to be, let me see here. Yeah, he's in a triple threat match for the WWE Championship.
Oh, no shit. Wow. Well, that'll be something we can definitely cover as well.
Yeah.
Well, break down the card a little bit because there's not much on it. It starts with Kofi Kingston, Samoa Joe, and Dolph Ziggler in a triple threat match, like I just said. Then you have Bayley versus Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair. Another triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Next you got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Finn Balor. A singles match for the Intercontinental Championship. And then it says here they get the New Day versus to be announced for the Tag Team Championship.
So
awesome.
Pretty small match card, but yeah, we'll add it to the watch list. We'll definitely grade it the way that we grade everything else. So
yeah, hopefully it's a good, fun house show. I mean, we have seen glorified house shows in the past with the Saudi Arabia stuff, but hopefully this one will actually just be fun to watch and chill on a Saturday night, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we want to thank everyone out there for listening to Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, Episode 4. You can follow us on Twitter at HTRDub Podcast. You can check us out on Twitter at HTA. God damn it. We already said it once.
HTRW Podcast.
I'll get better at it, I swear. So you can also follow our personal stuff, me on Instagram at couple_of_Tatos. That is TAYTOS. Guys, would you like to plug your stuff?
You can find me at YoCali. That is Yo_Cali for pretty much everything.
Yeah, and if you go on Hitting the Ropes Wrestling, I think I'm on there a lot. Project_Colin. That'd be my Twitter. And
lot of retweets.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
And I believe that's the same for your Instagram as well, right?
Instagram has 2 underscores.
Well, guys, we want to thank you one last time for listening to Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, Episode 4. We'll be with you next week with all of our reviews, recaps, and news as well. We'll see you then.